Welcome, listeners, to another deep dive. Okay, picture this. It's a humid, really electric Sunday night at the 2025 U.S. Open, August 24th. You're inside Louis Armstrong Stadium. The air is just thick with tension. The crowd's roaring. This first-round match is unfolding. But this wasn't just any match. It became this spectacle. Raw emotion, super high stakes, and just one moment that totally ignited a storm became the eye of it, really.
Yeah, it was something else.
We're talking about Daniil Medvedev, Russian tennis star, former world #1. He's known for that, cerebral, chess-like game.
Very tactical.
Exactly, but he's also got this fiery temper, right? That intensity that sometimes just spectacularly boils over.
It definitely surfaced that night.
And boy, did it ever. A single kind of unexpected incident sparked this 6-minute tirade. You could hear it all over the stadium. It ended with a massive fine, and it just put the spotlight back on how much emotion can actually cost you in elite sports.
A steep price, for sure.
So, our mission today, we're going to unpack exactly what went down on that dramatic night, the consequences, sure, but more than that. What does this whole explosive event tell us about the immense pressure these athletes are under, their reactions, which are, human, and maybe the nature of competition itself at this level? We're going deeper than the headlines here.
Right. And what's really fascinating, I think, is that this wasn't just a random outburst. It's more like a window, isn't it? A window into that whole dynamic between players, officials who are often under fire, and the crowds.
Yeah.
Those passionate crowds. They can lift you up or, well, they can amplify the chaos like we saw there.
Totally.
So yeah, we'll peel back the layers from that exact umpire call, the controversial one, to the money, the actual financial hit. And we'll connect it to Medvedev's whole journey, his history. It really makes you think, about the sport and honestly about anyone who's felt that kind of intense pressure.
Okay, let's go right back to that moment then. Third set. Medvedev against Benjamin Bonzi, the Frenchman. Bonzi's ranked 51st, but he'd just taken a 5-4 lead. Holding serve. He was literally 1 point from taking the set.
Yeah, the tension was, you could feel it.
Yeah.
Crowd leaning in, sensing something big was about to happen.
And this is where it just went off script, where things got, really interesting.
Right after Bonzi's first serve is called a fault. This photographer, whose credentials got pulled immediately, by the way, just wanders onto the court, like physically onto the playing surface. Totally unexpected.
During the point? Wow.
Well, just after the fault call, but before the second serve. That intrusion, ill-timed, doesn't even cover it. It led the chair umpire, Greg Allensworth, to make a really controversial call. Bonzi gets another first serve.
Because of the disruption?
Exactly. It's standard protocol, technically.
Right.
External interference can mean a replay. But the timing, the context, it was like lighting a fuse.
And Medvedev's reaction, it was immediate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Explosive.
Oh, yeah. Predictable, maybe? He looked so agitated, just stormed towards the chair.
And you could hear him, right, on the court mics, booming through the stadium.
Loud and clear. He yelled, and this is a direct quote, "He wants to go home, guys. He doesn't like to be here. He gets paid by the match, not by the hour."
And it wasn't quick. 6 minutes, you said.
A full 6 minutes. It wasn't just a protest. It was a sustained, fiery tirade. And the crowd, they just ate it up, electrified them.
Turned it into a spectacle.
Absolutely. And that New York crowd at Armstrong, they're famous for that energy, right? Almost gladiatorial sometimes.
They definitely don't just sit back and watch.
No way. They jumped right in, sensed the drama, started booing the umpire's call really loudly.
And chanting.
Yeah, chanting second serve, clearly backing Medvedev's argument, that Bonzi shouldn't get that do-over.
So it creates this feedback loop.
Totally. Medvedev's frustration feeds the crowd roars back, and it just ramps up the chaos, the theatricality on court. It became this public performance almost.
With the umpire right in the middle of it all. Okay, so that's the outburst. What happened next? The immediate consequences.
Well, despite all that drama, Medvedev actually dug deep. He fought back, incredibly won the third set in a tiebreak, and then dominated the fourth, took it 6-0.
Wow, quite a comeback.
It really was. But Bonzi, ranked 51st, showed amazing resilience. He hung tough. And ultimately, Bonzi won that marathon 5-setter. 6-3, 7-5, 6-7, 0-6, 6-4. Grueling match.
So Medvedev loses the match. And you can imagine the frustration didn't just disappear.
Not at all. After the final point, the handshake happened, but then pure fury. He went over to his chair and just repeatedly smashed his racket against it.
Oh, man.
Just reduced it to a wreck, mangled mess. It was raw, a physical display of everything boiling over.
Okay, so the tirade and the racket smash, that sounds expensive.
Incredibly costly, both in dollars and, well, reputationally. It only took 3 days, Wednesday, August 27th.
Right.
The U.S. Open authorities came down swiftly. Total fine, $42,500.
$42,500. Wow. How did they break that down?
2 parts. $30,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct. That's the tirade, the language towards the umpire. And another $12,500 specifically for racket abuse. For destroying the equipment, tournament referee Jake Garner issued it. Clear message sent.
Okay, let's put $42,500 in perspective for us listening. That's huge.
It really is.
It's more than a third of his prize money just for showing up and playing the first round, right?
Yeah.
Which was $110,000.
Yep, a big slice.
For most people, $42,500, that's a car. That's a year's rent in a lot of places. A serious amount of money.
No question.
Now, obviously, Medvedev's a top pro, career earnings over $40 million, so this isn't going to, ruin him financially.
Right, but it's not pocket change either, even for him.
Exactly. It's a very public slap on the wrist, a hit to his reputation, and it really makes you wonder, is that punishment proportionate? Is it too much for losing your cool in a high-pressure sport? Or is it absolutely needed to keep things professional?
That's the debate, isn't
Right,
it?
dear.
And there are strong arguments both ways.
To really get a handle on it, you have to look at Medvedev's history, right?
Yeah.
This wasn't exactly out of the blue.
Not at all. This 2025 incident, while maybe one of the more dramatic, it fits a pattern. He has this well-documented history of what's called them fiery moments, on-court antics. It paints a picture of someone who really feeds off intensity, but sometimes, he crosses that line. It's almost part of his persona.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen it. 2019 U.S. Open, that was memorable. Flipping off the crowd.
Snatching the towel from the ball kids.
Tossing the racket. He kind of played the villain role that year, didn't he? And the crowd sort of loved to hate him for it.
They did. Then earlier this year, 2025, another big fine, right? $76,000 for smashing a camera and his racket somewhere else.
$76,000. So the fines are escalating.
Seems like it. And you go back further, 2017 Wimbledon. He threw coins at the umpire's chair, Mariana Alves, which everyone took as him questioning her integrity after a loss. These aren't small things. They're high-profile blow-ups.
Yeah, they stick in people's minds.
And this 2025 outburst also happened at a tough time for him, career-wise. That loss to Bonzi, it was his third straight first-round exit at a major this season.
Third in a row. Ouch.
Okay.
For a former number one.
Yeah, that's got to sting. And adding to it, one of those other losses was also to Bonzi at Wimbledon just earlier that summer.
Really? So Bonzi had his number this year?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
And it's such a contrast to, 2021 when he won the U.S. Open, beating Djokovic in the final. Straight sets.
So the pressure must have been immense. Losing streak in majors, high expectations.
Absolutely. You can see how someone might snap. Doesn't excuse it, maybe, but provides context. He's not just battling Bonzi, he's battling his own form, his own frustrations.
And right in the middle of that storm, you have the umpire, Greg Allensworth. He makes this call.
Which, as we said, technically, you can argue it follows the rules. External disruption allows for a replay.
But the application of the rule in that moment, that's where the controversy lies. Especially with a player like Medvedev.
Right. And Medvedev even brought up Riley Opelka during his tirade. Opelka had apparently called Allensworth the worst umpire on tour before.
Oh, wow. So there's history there, or at least perceived history.
It hints at maybe a wider dissatisfaction among some players with officiating, and it just shows how one call at a critical moment can just light that powder keg.
And what about Bonzi in all this? Did he say anything?
He kept it pretty brief, but telling. He basically said Medvedev started it, and he put oil on the fire.
That's interesting. So from Bonzi's perspective, maybe it wasn't just frustration. Maybe it felt like tactics, or at least something that affected the match dynamics.
Could be interpreted that way.
Yeah.
It definitely suggests that these outbursts aren't just isolated moments. They impact everyone on the court, change the flow, the mental game.
This whole thing, it really pushes us to think about that balance, doesn't it? Between sportsmanship, the traditional code of conduct in tennis.
Which the sport prides itself on.
Exactly. And the raw motion, the unscripted stuff that, let's be honest, makes it so gripping to watch.
It's true. For a lot of fans, those moments of unfiltered passion, that's the real drama. That's what keeps you glued to the screen.
So it begs the question, why penalize it so heavily?
Well, think about the U.S. Open. It's a grand slam. Global audience. Massive sponsors, multi-million-dollar business. They have an image to protect.
Professionalism, decorum.
Right. So the fines are punishment, yes, but they're also a deterrent. They're saying, this is the line, don't cross it.
But the counter-argument is strong too, isn't it? That maybe these strict rules kind of sanitize the game, squeeze out the personality.
Yeah, that you lose some of that raw human element that makes sport compelling. It's a constant tension. Control versus character. The institution versus the individual.
And really, this isn't just about tennis, is it? It's sort of a window into pressure. Any high-stakes situation. We've all felt that frustration, right? That moment in a job interview, a heated argument, maybe even with family, where you just want to lash out.
That flash of anger.
Yeah. The huge difference is Medvedev's moment happened on this massive stage. Millions watching, thousands in the stadium, millions of dollars on the line.
The consequences are just amplified massively. Very public, very costly, for a reaction that, at its core, is pretty human.
How did the wider tennis world react? Any notable comments?
Oh, definitely. It was swift. Borthbecker, for instance, 6-time slam champ, was commentating. He actually suggested Medvedev needs to seek professional help for the outbursts, which is a pretty strong statement from someone like Becker.
Wow, really? That's significant.
Yeah. Medvedev himself, afterwards, he almost seemed to anticipate it, didn't he? He said something like, I'm getting a big fine enough, so if I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Kind of defiant even then.
Exactly. And that mix, the incredible talent, the history of drama, that defiance, it makes him so polarizing. You can't ignore him, whether you love him or hate him. He's compelling.
For sure. So we've really dug deep into that Sunday night at the 2025 U.S. Open, a photographer's mistake, an umpire's call, spiraling into this huge display of frustration, that massive $42,500 fine, and just another unforgettable chapter in Medvedev's very complex career.
It really captures sport at its most raw, doesn't it?
It does.
And what stands out, I think, is how his story, with all the brilliance and all the controversy, forces us to look at that balance again. Passion versus control. It's a reminder, isn't it, that even at the absolute peak of sport, with all the training and precision, the human element, with all its flaws and fire, that's still the most compelling part of the whole thing.
So as Medvedev leaves the 2025 U.S. Open after that drama, the big question kind of hangs there, doesn't it? For him, can he figure out how to channel that fire without getting burned? Or will these moments keep defining his legacy, maybe even more than his talent?
It's the million-dollar question for him, isn't it?
And for you, listening, what does this whole saga tell us about sport itself, how it's evolving? Where does that raw authenticity fit in with the ideal of perfect sportsmanship? Definitely something to chew on, something to debate until next time we do a deep dive.